I showed up in CoDA trying to save a marriage, and it was unsavable. And this was my third marriage. Um, and I went to a counselor in the Woodlands that started the very first, she had the very first CoDA group meeting at the Family Service Center for Montgomery County. And I was going to go to counseling and to save this marriage. It wasn't about me being codependent because I didn't, I was running things. I just finished University of Houston, had my license as a counselor, was, taking care of foster kids, had a foster program, teaching therapeutic writing program. I was involved in all of this outside activities, worked a full-time day job, taught classes at night, all of this going on. And my counselor said, well, what do you do for yourself? And it was almost like it felt like she kicked me right in the gut. Nothing. I did absolutely nothing for myself. Everything I did to get approval, to get acceptance, to get some kind of acknowledgement, something outside of me, because inside I was dying. Inside I was miserable. I grew up really brutalized. I had a mother that beat me on a regular basis, very narcissist. And then the first husband also put me in the hospital twice. Yeah, not once, but twice, really, because I thought if I loved this man enough, he would learn how to be good to me and love me right. Well, of course, that never happened. So after this third marriage, and I was going to counseling, and my counselor, therapist, Betsy Van Meter, said, I'm going to teach you how to love yourself. I'm going to help you save yourself. You can't. I was so yeah, a group therapy is what it was. They did read some of the resume or the 55 character traits or character issues that we have in CoDA. And I identified with some of those. And so then I realized I had to do something different. So I kept going to those meetings, went through my divorce. I also was involved in other 12-step groups, AA and NA. But I wasn't getting what I needed through those programs because I needed to go back and do inner child work. I had to go back and work on the molestation, the rape, the abandonment, the abuse. I had to go back and look at that inner child and take care of her. And that's why I looked outside of myself to fulfill me, was because I didn't know, I couldn't get in there. I was afraid of what I'd have to do, afraid of looking at those past issues, of feeling that pain. So needless to say, I continued going to CoDA, got married again, and realized that I needed to work the steps again. And then this marriage didn't work out either. I had like a 2-year marriage, a 3-year marriage, a 13-year marriage, and another 13. 13 is a good number, I guess. So 13-year marriage. And I've been single now for 8 years, and this is the best. Oh my God, this is the best I've ever felt in my life. I have healthy boundaries. One of the first things I had the opportunity to learn was to say no. I didn't know how to say no. So my counselor had me say, she said, well, when you go through a drive-through and they want to biggie those fries or large that drink, just say no. She said, because I didn't know how to say no. I really didn't. And I was teaching DWI classes for Montgomery County. And I had a client come in to sign up on the last night. Right. I mean, I took 25 students and I had to do all their paperwork before we taught the class. He came in at 5:30 and the class started at 6. And my secretary said, well, do you want to accept him? And I said, I looked at him and I looked at her, and this was my big debut. I said, no. And I immediately ran out of our front office. Secretary, the guy picked chair, throw. I had gone, so I didn't happen until when I went to do my, just kept saying, thank God, thank you, God. I'm learning how to live. They had already called the sheriff's department. He was in handwork in the day and taught classes at night. And it was like, it really, I was a little afraid to say no again, because the experience was so traumatic on my secretary, not on me. because I didn't see him throw the chair. Anyway, so then I realized that I needed to do everything this counselor told me, because I was trying to do it half measures, avail us nothing. And I was just doing a little bit because here I am, a counselor. What could they possibly tell me I don't already know? Well, what I know today is that the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. And so I got serious about working the steps, and we have a printout, and it's 30 questions for CoDA step 1, 2, and 3 using the before I actually got it that I needed to answer these questions. Well, then, of course, when I started working this, oh, you can't see it, maybe. Anyway, when I started working that, I saw it on the first 30 and 31. So I'd already done that. But I went back and looked at them again. And what I realized was on like that question, what neglect and abuse that I walked through. And I'm still amazed I lived through any of that. And so going in and writing about all of that and what I realized, and then the next question, or other people were being neglected or abused, and why. So what these 15 questions did for me on page 30 and 31 was give me the opportunity to take a really deep look at my inner child and to bring her up. And then I ended up, Betsy Van Meter moved. I ended up not having a counselor because I was counseling a lot of people then. I learned the Imago relationship counseling, which was amazing. And I taught that for a while, and I learned that. And it's funny because I think that you teach or for me, I needed to teach what I needed to learn the most. So I taught DWI for 18 years in Montgomery County. And then I taught the Imago relationship therapy for like 3 years. And that was a good program. Anyway, what I know about this program of Codependence Anonymous is it saved my life. I no longer, when I first started going to CoDA, I remember going outside and holding up my hands and just asking God to take me. I couldn't be here anymore. And I had some prescription drugs. I self-medicated to try to sleep sometimes. And I'd go out on the weekends and drink. And that's why I was going to NA for my prescriptions, AA for my drinking, and then CoDA for my emotional intelligence or my emotional healing. And what I learned about with these, I can't stress enough how important it is to go back and do that work. For me, I don't know about everyone. I don't know about anyone else, but I know for me, I had to go back and have a look at that little girl and give her permission to be happy, give her permission to say no, give her permission to have the promises. Wow, when I first read the promises of CoDA, I was like, I want that. In my whole life, I've spent doing everything I could do to get those things that I couldn't give myself because I was trying to get them from everyone around me. And so until I could accept those promises to give that to me. And so I sponsor quite a few women today in all 3 programs. And last week, one of the girls is like, she's trying not to have a relationship. And I said, well, how about waiting a year? Okay, because she's in NA. How about waiting a year and loving yourself the way that you would love a boyfriend? And she looked at me and she's like, what? Wow. And it was like lights came on. Even me, I heard almost a siren in my head, like, ring, ring, ring. I need to do what I say or what I suggest others to do. So getting back to those 15 questions on page 30, what I realized when I work with other women doing the CoDA steps because I won't work or sponsor someone unless they're willing to go through the steps, because half measures avail me nothing. And so, and you can act like everything's okay, but I mean, just literally. So going back and answering these questions, the ladies sponsor, and I sponsored 2 men, had the opportunity to look at what age they were programmed with that unworthiness. What age did they feel all that shame? What age did they quit trusting? At what age they were affected, and that programming is what they've carried up until for me, I carried that programming up until I was an adult. And what I know today is that I'm better than happy, joyous, and free. I'm amazed at all the peace and the joy and the bliss. I mean, it's real bliss, like going outside, having my hot chocolate every morning and putting a dog on my lap. I've got 2 dogs. One of them's getting ready to leave today, but put a dog on my lap and feed my horses and love on them, and they think they're dogs. And I pray for all my trees. I only have 5 acres, and I pray for my trees, and I pray for my dirt and my grass and all my sponsees and my kids and my family. I mean, my whole life evolves around service work. I know that's what I'm here for. I have difficulty dating because I will take a phone call. I mean, I will put my sponsees above a relationship because that's important to me. No one ever did that for me. So if I can do that for the woman that I'm working with, and it gives her just the ability to know that she matters, her life is worth something, and she is enough. And I never had that when I was growing up. So I've learned that through my counselors, through CoDA. And oh my God, so I got to say something about Linda. I love her so much. The first time I saw her was at the CoDA meeting in the Woodlands. So I attend the CoDA Nuts group on Monday nights at 7:15. I chair that. And then I used to have a Wednesday meeting, and then some guys decided they were going to have a men's meeting, and that just totally fell out. So I try to make the Wednesday meeting in the Woodlands just because Linda is there. The first time I saw her, she was just like a bright ray of sunshine. I mean, in fact, she had these little cards, and I think she gave me one, and it said, well, if you're not having sunshine today, call me and I'll blow some sunshine up your ass. I was like, I love this girl. She is my favorite girl. And so I had the opportunity to get close to her and to get to know her. And oh my God. And I love her little bee voice. I just want to have that little happy, childlike voice. And she is just an absolute transformation of what we can all have. I still want to be like Linda. I look at her as my hero, and she just walks through life like nothing is ever, everything always works out for us. Absolutely. So are we done? Am I done yet? No? Am I
Nope,
still
keep
on?
going. People were inspired, so they're commenting. Keep going. You're
Okay.
good. 1
Like,
minute and 40 seconds.
okay. I was like, I don't want to be all this talk, and I sure hope I'm not still on mute. So I have a couple of things that I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot of things, but things that I want to share is, when I got into the program, I came, we're born with free will. And then, of course, self-will takes over, because I wanted to protect myself as a kid. And I did whatever I needed to do to get out of the way of my stepdad, to hide from my mom, to protect myself as well as I could. And then so self-will took over. And when I came to CoDA, I mean, I went to AA and NA, but I never really understood God's will until I went to CoDA. And it gave me permission to trust something greater than myself. Now, I got a lot of native blood, so I don't believe in some of the religious stuff. So that turned me off in AA and NA. And I'm totally about the spiritual life. And, I pray to my trees. I mean, hello, how many white people do you know do that? So I have that in my blood. I can't help it. And what I know today is that this program I can't imagine life without it. And so free will, self-will, God's will. And then I was always so addicted to getting whatever reaction I needed. by doing whatever I needed to do for anybody, like at work, they used to have a commercial about life cereal and it said, Mikey will eat it. Well, they would say, oh, Jackie will do it, because I did everybody's documentation. I did everybody's paperwork. I even got everything ready for our audit. So anyway, what I know is that this program has given me permission to have healthy boundaries, to love myself. And I too had to write, I love you on my mirror on the way to the bathroom every morning and read it to myself. And I didn't. I hated myself. And that's probably why I hated women. Or I didn't hate women. Yeah, I did. I hated women because I had bad experiences with women. But what I know today is I hated them because I hated me. I didn't love me. And so I didn't know how to love a woman because I didn't know how to love me. And the more I learned today to love me, the more opportunity I have to love other women. And so when women compliment me, like, I just turned 71, right? And I never thought I'd live this long. And so women compliment me all the time, and I still have a distorted perception of what I look like. So I don't see it, which is probably a good thing. But when they compliment me and tell me I'm beautiful, or they love what I shared, or that they love me, I know that I'm just a reflection of them. And I can love them back, and I can share that. I can just share all of that peace and all of that, bliss. It's total bliss. It's like total ecstasy in my heart. I don't have to, well, I'm going to say this anyway. I don't have to have an orgasm to have ecstasy. All I have to do is have love in my heart and love for others. So am I done yet?
Yes, thank you, Jacqueline. There was one question posted. Someone asked, what is AMAGA relationship therapy?
Oh, Imago, OMAGA. And it's done by Dr. Oh gosh, I have the book in my office here. Imago, OMAGA, and it's amazing. And it gives you the opportunity to go back and look at how that, how that connection you have with the other person, how it fills in those gears, like where you end up with someone because you're an empath, you end up with someone that's a narcissist that reminds you of your mother, so you can work through your mother load. And so it's real easy. It's got a bunch of questions in the back, and you and your partner answer those questions, and then it gives you something to work on. And there's a lot of therapies out there. The love languages was really an eye-opener for me too. But I study and read and research. I'm like certified in 12 different holistic healing modalities, because I can't get enough. I don't know much yet. I just know what I know today, and CoDA has saved my life and saved many other women's lives. And yeah, I love y'all. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you for sharing.